What is it, 3 strikes and you're out?
Bob, Lakers playing a lot of defense here early on, a lot of defense.
Clock trickles down to the 4-minute mark. First quarter brought to you by the Valley Inn. Great folks at the Valley Inn all the time. They just opened up their Valley Inn patio today. Had a chance to get a bite to eat, a little lunch over at the Valley Inn. And here is Kevin Davis, number 17. Great pass by Davis. And Cam Spencer at speed will pull out. Select zone 5, save your aircraft, live to fight another day. Maintain possession right now. The defense needs some rest, right, Brock?
Absolutely. You got to have a good possession here. Work it around, get in your best offensive set, maybe run a little opener play.
This is Glatz, toe drag, gets the inside shot, and Jackson Marshall holds it. It's not going to be an over and back.
I think he rung that off the post.
He absolutely hit the post. They called a push against Calvert Hall. BL keep possession.
A crucial possession right now for the Lakers. Lakers driving the alley, ball pinballs around. And that is going to be a hold against Calvert Hall. Coach Farrell gets it.
Little set behind the goal with Glatz and Cam Spencer there.
No flag on that, and a nice check. And that is going to be a moving pick. And that will give Calvert Hall possession in the middle of the field. That's just a poorly timed scooping of the ball there, Brock. You see it happen all the time.
All the time. Pressure on him, just couldn't make the play.
Well, he picked the ball up, but the old ball, I've got the ball, you take the man. He's got to let him know he's got the ball so he doesn't get called for a moving pick, which was what happened there.
The ball release. Clock now at the 2:40 mark. Shot goes wide. And we will step away momentarily. Quick little timeout, 2-0 Calvert Hall. We are at Kelly Field on the campus of Calvert Hall for the beginning of the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Lacrosse season. On Saturday, June 1st, the Baltimore 10-miler will be live on WMAR2 News. It is always the region's best 10-mile race that starts and finishes right at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore. We're known for fantastic premiums, a runner-friendly course, and that zany finish line beach party featuring a Jimmy Buffett band. The B10 is an exciting and fun 10-mile race that will be the highlight of your 2019. You're going to be proud of what you can accomplish. Go to Baltimore10miler.com and register today.
It's time to go Toyota. With a great selection of rugged four-wheel drive and year-round all-wheel drive vehicles, including the completely redesigned adventure-ready RAV4, or any of these 9 models built to help you feel more secure no matter what the weather brings. Plus, advanced safety features come standard on most models. Learn more and shop deals on buyatoyota.com. See your Toyota dealer, your four-wheel and all-wheel drive specialist. Toyota, let's go places.
Game 1 of the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, and Rick Mercado bringing it to you. Ball pinballs high in the air, and that's going to be a push.
Looked like Boys Latin came out with some pressure there right out of that timeout. Good defensive strategy there by Coach Farrell.
And it should be BL possession where the push occurred. I think they're going to reset this.
No, he's moving him. He's moving him out here. Oh, no, yes, he is. Now he's moving him out here. So he gets to the middle of the field, but the ref's standing there. Take your extra 5 yards, 26.
Yeah,
Ryan Evans.
Yeah, that is Ryan Evans or Rev. Big happy birthday shout out to his mom, Joe D. Evans.
Grandson of Joe Cowan.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, and a pass that goes off the foot, but they have enough guys back, so they are clear. I think BL might be offsides, or they don't have enough guys. Am I missing a guy? There they go. Now they have enough guys. My bad. And they come up with a coveted ground ball right there. Inside feed. Time to shoot. What a save by Jackson Marshall. No soup for you.
Well, I tell you right there, the kid dropped his stick low, and he shot low, and Jackson tracked it the whole way, made a great save.
And a great ground ball pickup. Coach Shriver, do you do ground ball practice in science class at all? These kids are doing a nice job on ground balls.
Yeah, we're talking about oceans.
Calvert Hall now streaking up the field, and they will go back on the offensive end. And Cole Herbert, number 1. Brock, you talked about him in the open. Impressed so far?
This midfield, they'll ride this midfield a lot. Haven't seen Cole do a whole lot. He had a nice little nifty move and a feed inside earlier, but haven't seen him really take any big chances.
Brock takes home the win on the race to nifty. Tell you, so many things going on. Cagey Brock.
It's not my first rodeo.
No, that might be our first flat. No.
I'm surprised Calvert Hall is not looking for the last shot. Now I think they will with 33 seconds left. But the way the game's gone so far, they're probably not too concerned with the clock. They've had some good possession.
And they're winning some faceoffs too. Does that factor in, Bob, as a coach?
Sure.
Okay.
Boys Latin settled down here. He's playing a reasonably good defense right now. Kind of quick to slide, but Herbert can kind of run through those slides.
He can impose his will. And a nice quick dodge shot over the cage, and there's our first flag late in the quarter.
I think Jack Sawyer should have taken one more step there. He would have had a much better angle. One more step to greatness, as they say.
Yeah, and well, the other component of that is he was about to get laid out. He saw the check coming.
Tried to slip underneath it. Yep.
And Reagan McNamara, he knew he was coming.
Beal start the second quarter down a man. McNamara, as his wont to do, is a very aggressive, physical guy. He took a penalty there. Calvert Hall start extra man to begin the second quarter.
We will step away. First quarter in the books. Second quarter on the way. This is the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week. Yeah. Yeah, everything's good here. Oh, bro.
I was there.
Yeah.
I figured I would see it at some point.
Somebody texted Bob that they could hear three voices at the same time.
The graphics all messed up. It says FCA MIAA Game of the Week. It's got BL winning 2-0. So, hey, first game jitters for everybody.
iron it out.
Billy says
Brock
that the
wins the race to Nifty.
Billy says that the
Corrigan Sports Enterprises is a full-service sports marketing and event management company. Every detail from marketing, public relations, logistics, and cleanup, Corrigan Sports Enterprises handles events from conception to fruition. The premier lacrosse and field hockey recruiting tournaments and high-profile running events. Corrigan Sports Enterprises, bringing your dreams to life.
Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll helps employers and employees save time, money, and hassle in navigating the intricacies of insurance, benefits, payroll, and workforce challenges. Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll is pleased to support CSE TV and the Game of the Week. Visit kellyway.com to put their people, technology, and services to work for you.
Second quarter, and Calvert Hall already up 2-0. They start the game with the man advantage.
Looks like they're starting out. They're setting a 1-4 right here. Probably roll it in, roll it up into something.
And a pass picked off.
Boys Latin shut Daniel Kelly out, shut him off right there, and it proved to be effective.
A little bit of a lazy pass there. I thought the defender did a good job of playing stick on the offensive player.
Another bad clear. They made a great play at the defensive end, and now they're got another 20 seconds to eat off this penalty, BL does.
And the clearing woes.
Well, that was just a bad play. That was a bad situation for BL. He threw the ball. We're down a man. Boys Latin is down a man, excuse me. And he's got to be a little bit more disciplined. Look at that look.
What a great pass. Length of the field almost. And that's the way you beat that 10-man ride. And Lakers now going on the man advantage. I'm sorry, going on the offense. Getting a little ahead of myself.
This kid, number 12, Galatz, is very slick. He's just a sophomore, but he's got great determination, good speed, good quickness, and he's a tough kid.
Underneath dodge! Oh, yeah!
That looked reminiscent of his brother, Patrick. Anybody that's seen him play this year, Patrick's done that a couple times. There's Cam taking one out of his brother's playbook. That was an aggressive move to the goal. There's a little chatter going on down there at the defensive end with the BL offensive guys. What a determined play that was. Wow.
You could see the basketball player coming out in him there, Bob. He got a lot of air on that one.
And he was jumping away from the goalie. There's no problem. Based on the rule the way it exists, that's a great play.
Officials were quick to give that the goal, too, which was good.
Face-off win for the Lake Show, and a little momentum breeding here over in Eastern Towson.
Hey guys, I can actually see Pat Spencer in the crowd here, and he's pretty fired up after that one.
Our man Dan Aburn from Inside Lacrosse chiming in. Dan, what else are you noticing down on the sideline? A lot of chirping?
Just a high-energy game so far, but listening into the BL huddle, they actually preached patience on offense first because they had gotten the ball and then they were taking some quick shots and quickly turning the ball over. So right there, we get a patient offensive set and they actually get a goal. So.
And there's the Lakers with another shot. Jackson Marshall with the save, ground ball high in the air. And now we got some of that contact we've been looking for. And we have a timeout by the Lakers.
Booker, I went to the St. Paul's McDonough game today, and I saw a lot of the same kind of energy and grit by both teams. They were really getting after it. I think we just saw that on that ground ball.
That was great lacrosse.
The ground ball on the other far sideline in the first quarter. So both teams are showing first game energy and effort. It's fun to watch.
Yep, throwing their bodies around. It's good to see the energy level so up, and that's that's a first league game, baby.
And Brock, we talk about it's a first league game and the intensity. And Bob, you talked about the intensity. How do you make sure that those kids stay within the rules? And the high hits are such a point of emphasis. Are you talking about that in huddles and in practice?
I think you're talking about that in practice and really making sure that the guys are doing the right things, and then that'll translate to what happens on the field in these intense situations too.
No question. The intensity level is up. I don't know that the quality of the play's been that outstanding, and a lot of that has to do with the intensity. Calvert Hall's ride has caused BL to turn the ball over 4 times. BL's played some pretty good defense. Calvert Hall's fed inside. BL's knocking them around. BL just drove to the goal and got Cam Spencer got crushed on that play. He got crushed, and it was a good, clean, legal hit.
Absolutely.
This is what so nicely was reported in the Sun paper this morning by Glenn Graham from the Sun papers, talking about the intensity of the first MIAA game and all this other stuff in the preseason. You put back in your back pocket, and you just get excited to play in what we consider the greatest high school league in the country.
Well, and this is what we play for, these games, these league games here. This is the championship that really matters. The games against Hill, against Brunswick, against Culver, they get you ready for this, that they expose you a little bit so you can see what you need to work on. This is great stuff right here.
Valuable insights from my man Bob Shriver and Rick Bricado. I'm just the fat guy in the middle. Right, and the fat man rocks.
Fat man in the bathtub, Buck.
Nothing wrong with that either. I hear a cowbell somewhere. Somewhere Jake Reed is smiling. Great McDonough coach back in the 90s and early 2000s. Jake Reed, big Little Feet fan. And Bob, somewhere Matty Cruz is hoping BL gets the next marker. Am I right?
Yes, they do.
Matty Cruz. Oh, an
Great
inside feed shot backed up, and now we got a flag flying. Ooh. Slim with the tilted brim. Coach Brian Nee getting a chance to run his man-up offense. Now, BL, they lost Gene Ubriaco to be the head coach at Loyola. What are your thoughts? Is that how do you replace a loss like that, Bob?
Bring in Chris Bolin, who has been coaching. He's a brilliant player at Hopkins. He's been coaching college club lacrosse at USC and Northeastern in Boston, Massachusetts. He's capable of handling the offense. And again, he's been dealt his first year. He's got dealt a little bit of a bad hand, losing his best offensive player. And then the other kid that's missing tonight is young Dominic Petramala, who's just a freshman, but he's a really, really good player. And they could use both those kids, but they don't have them. Calvert Hall's not feeling bad for them, so they got to make do with what they have.
BL man-up offense, 3-3. It rotates, and another pass knocked down on the man advantage procedural violation push, and it's going to be Calvert Hall ball. Brock, how do you get these kids to not turn the ball over on man-up, guy?
That was a great play by the defender. Short stick midi. He had his stick up in the passing lane, did a great job of tracking that ball and knocking it down.
Grant Mitchell with the punt return clear. You see some of that athleticism we've talked about so much, Bob.
Riding that first midfield right now.
Yep. And they have some athleticism and some size.
Yeah, they're big kids. Herbert, Mitchell, and Mitchell. Of course, it's Herbert, Mitchell, and Long playing on this first midfield. But with Herbert and Mitchell, they are monster kids.
Shot, goal, and we will never be knotted at deuces in this one. 3-1 Hall. Truett Sunderland And he goes low to low there, Brock, and he squeaked in the corner.
He sure did. It was a great move. I thought he exploded to the goal right here. Look at the acceleration, and then he just hammered it home.
And he
worked off a little pick there. Yep.
Dodged all the way from the corner. It's just a long way to cover a guy.
Well, the pick caused the defenseman to change his trajectory, and instead of cutting off his angle, he went around that pick, and now he's chasing the ball from behind. And Sunderland's shown speed on that play. It's kind of like watching Weber's goal.
Chris Catone taking the faceoff for Calvert Hall, while Moreland wins it for the Lake Show. But Catone has done a nice job so far today. Want to make sure we give him some credit. A little bit of love for the youngster.
Great ground ball by number 33, Braden McClure, who is a outstanding young Pole with really good speed, good stick, plays hard, headed to Richmond. Calvert Hall defense has always been incredibly quick to slide, and you want them to slide, but you got to drive hard to the goal to make them slide, and that's tough, especially when you lose the ball.
Inside dodge that time by Cole Erickson. Ball knocked to the ground on the attempted clear by the Cardinals, and now it comes away. And this Calvert Hall defense, you're right. Guys like Parker Bird doing such a nice job for him. Sawyer knocked to the turf, and that is going to be a flag.
That was after the whistle.
That was after the whistle. That looks like they're still going to call it, though, but that clearly was after the whistle.
Sure was, yep.
We are going to step away briefly. When we come back, we will be 3-1. Calvert Hall, they will be on the man up.
August Getz came from Germany, bought a chewing gum company. World War II happened, no more chicken. Began making caramels filled with creams, aka bullseyes. Bright idea. Stretch a caramel cream into a stick and call it cowtails. Tails like fairy tales. Put them in cups, became #1 selling 25-cent item. Added flavors. Started making minis, added different pack types, still family owned, loved for generations by generations. GetSome.com.
And we are back. Calvert Hall will be on the man advantage. A late hit that time. We were talking to the booth, Brock. It was a soft whistle, but we still heard it.
Yeah, we still heard it up here, but I think, you know, I don't know why they made that call.
Bob, what do you think?
Well, he hit him from behind. It was after the whistle, but they still called an unnecessary roughness, which was the right call. Boys Latin's been guilty of 2 of those, and they put themselves, they're down 3-1. They got to be a little bit more disciplined at the defensive end and not take stupid penalties, and that one was a stupid penalty.
The Hall comes out in a 3-3 right now.
A
little bit of a wheel rolling it.
Daniel Kelly now back up looking for Cole Herbert.
Looks like he's moving pretty well on that leg. Book.
Yep. And here's Saucy Jack Sawyer.
Not a great angle there by Sawyer. The goalie was on it. Boys Latin will give that shot up.
I was down on the field with Scotty McShane before the game, working on some of my low angle stuff. Scotty McShane, one of the great managers here for the Calvert Hall Cardinals.
Sawyer throwing a little sky whammy there, getting his hands free. He's pretty impressive for a freshman, isn't he, Coach Mercado?
He sure is. I like his poise. I like his aggression out there. He's doing a great job for the Hall. He seems to be the guy that's kind of making him go right now.
Inside feed shot, no dice.
And Bob, that was one of the things I was looking forward to today, seeing the 2 freshmen, Dominic Petramala. It's too bad Dominic can't play, because I was really looking forward to watching him play. I'd heard great things about him in the preseason.
Just to correct you, Brock. Oh, what an inside shot, goal. Drive it hard to the cage. Replay of this, Brock, he just takes it. Bob, what do you like about the way he aggressively went to the cage?
Well, the ball got through the defense, which you don't want to have happen. But Daniel Kelly's always been great, sniffing around the goal. Look, he sees the opening, just pulls his stick in front of him. And he dove to the front of the goal, not towards the goal mouth. Had he done that, it would have been a penalty, no goal, and BL would have gone back extra. It was a nice play by Kelly.
And a great skip pass by Grant Mitchell. Fantastic, through the heart of the defense.
We talk all the time as coaches about the value of a skip pass. Those diagonal passes mean so much.
Well, it beats the slide, right?
Quick shot goal off the face-off fumble. And Calvert Hall getting some momentum cooking.
BL came up with the ball. A.J. Hernandez, beautiful ground ball, and then he throws a bad pass. Davis can't handle it. Sunderland's standing there on the doorstep.
And Bob, that's the difference in the game right now, these second chances that the Lakers are giving Calvert Hall.
Yeah, just too many mistakes.
Yep.
You can't keep making mistakes and stay in a game for a great length of time. You just can't do it.
Face-off win that time for Calvert Hall.
Kia Sasaki.
Yeah. And Tyler Dunn doing the work that time.
BL needs a big stop, a save here. Try to cut into this lead a little bit because it's getting away from him. I know it's early in the second quarter, but the way the face-offs have been going, their inability to connect passes, making a couple dumb fouls are just working against them big time.
Yeah, for the Lakers right now, this game's starting to go the way it has against Culver and Brunswick. Bob's right, they need a big stop here.
And that's not the recipe. The Hall feeling it right now. High shorts and all.
Grant Mitchell backed him down, rolled back, and let that one rip off a pick off the wing by Danny Kelly.
Well, we've been making a slight mistake. I think we've got Grant and Connor a little confused.
That's Connor.
That's Connor, who has not been playing this year. You saw his emotion after scoring that goal. I'm guessing this is the first game he's played since the beginning of the year. We were here at Hill and he didn't play. No, he didn't play against Hill. I think he's been hurt. I'm guessing this is the first time he's been out.
And somebody who's that injury prone may not want to celebrate with such vigor. Violation against Calvert Hall. It'll be BL possession. They now trail 6-1. And it's a BL team, Bob, that hasn't had a lot of offensive success of late. They need to find a way to put it between the wickets here.
Here's Glatz on he's going to invert, try to create a mismatch with Smith, see if they can't get a switch and get Smith to be covered by a shorty. Calvert Hall handled that really well in the back.
Nice offense, some quick ball movement by the Lakers right here.
This is a good matchup. Nice save. Not a great angle. Marshall covered it, but that's a good matchup. Lloyd is extremely fast. He's probably the fastest kid on the team for Boys Latin, and he had a shorty there. He correctly went to the goal and had a good shot.
Jackson Marshall seems to be tracking the ball pretty well low. I think maybe a leaner there and pop it high might go in and take him off guard.
Had a chance to catch up with Coach Brian Farrell, and he sung the praises of Jair Thomas. And a nice pickoff.
Cole Erickson, right? Number 1?
Yes, sir. And a save by Marshall. And a flag comes in late. Back to the comment about Jair Thomas. He's a guy who they were just on the practice squad, and Coach Farrell decided he's worked hard enough and earned it, and he's going to dress him for the remainder of the season for games. And it just certainly was an honor and something the team kind of rallied behind, that kind of walk-on, getting the scholarship moment that you see so much on social media. I want to remind everybody before the halftime begins, my man Dan Aburn will be grabbing the leading coach, which could be Coach Brian Kelly. We'll have a moment with him. It'll be interesting to hear his thoughts as the first half is coming. BL on the man up shot. Jackson Marshall gets a foot on it. Cam Spencer gathers behind. Spencer behind now looking to feed. Lobs across the top. Shot never made it through.
I think that hit him in the head.
It's funny, Bob was tapping me on the head. I got bad eyes, Dan. You're down there closer. What else are you picking up, my friend, as we see the Lakers try to get one?
Timeout. Good timeout by Coach Farrell. They still got 21 seconds on the penalty.
And we will step away. 6-1 Calvert Hall right now. BL on the man advantage when we return. Nice to be back here, second quarter action. Let's get down on the field and see my man Dan Aburn. What do you got, Danny?
Well, we talked about the energy in this game, and right now what we're seeing is a little bit of some tough play off the ground and a few not so necessary hits, and that's why we're starting to see a few more penalties pop up in this game. Now, that's all I really got right now for you guys. Because BL, obviously, they got to score here to get back into this one. They also got to figure out the clears in the second half.
And Bob, we heard Dan talk about BL's got to find a way to get that offense going. Is there a magic button you can hit? How do you get that offense going?
Take Marshall out of the goal right now might help him, because Marshall's been on his game. BL hadn't had a lot of great. They actually have had about 5 or 6 really good shots, and he's been on most of them. The only one, obviously, he's given up was that sensational play by Cam Spencer. But he made a couple good saves on this series of offense that BL's had.
Lakers still on the man advantage for 17 more seconds. 1-4-1 diagonal pass doesn't make it through, and there's that experience of knocking balls down.
That's the one lefty BL has, Zach Crane. He's a good player, but he's only playing now on extra man offense, and it's really tough to be on a sideline. There's another dumb penalty by Boys Latin's Ryan Evans. He clearly came up and hit the cross-checked him in the head. Kind of silly. Calvert Hall's they call a timeout, now they're gonna get an extra man offense. BL's killing themselves. They got nobody to blame in this game but themselves.
Yeah, that happened right in front of the Calvert Hall bench too, so everybody saw it, and the audible reaction was noteworthy.
Yeah, and you see, here's the intensity.
I think Evans was getting an earful there from the coaching staff too.
Yeah, that's just the intensity taking over a man's decision making. And there you get a look at the Calvert Hall huddle. Coach Brian Kelly there in the middle in white. Here's BL. And we have a 2-minute full-time serve penalty. That will certainly be an interesting turn of events. We'll see what Calvert Hall can do with it. Brock, how do you come back from that if you're BL?
I'll tell you what, that could be a backbreaker right here. That takes you to the end of the half, really.
Yep.
You know, so that could be a backbreaker. Lakers can't keep making mistakes like this if they want to stay in the game.
And you say making mistakes. They're picking up ground balls well. They had a couple bad, like a moving pick and some failed clears.
Right, Book, but they're making some mental mistakes, you know, that typical BL teams don't make tonight. And that could be the, you know, the excitement of the first game and the energy level, too.
And the absence of Brendan Grimes, as we see Coach Brian Kelly on your screen. One of the oldest tenured coaches in the MIAA now, Bob.
He is
the oldest,
tenured in the MIAA. Yeah, you know, for BL, there's every bit of a little frustration going on here, but you handle your frustration by digging in your cleats, button up your chin strap, and just playing hard. You can't handle it by making stupid mistakes. Fouling people when the whistle blows, the foul before, that was a bad play. Cross-check the guy across the helmet and deservedly got 2 minutes. Frustration, you just can't do it. You know, you have to be cool, calm, and collected. This is a great opportunity for BL to eat some of this penalty up, possibly eat the rest of it up.
And get some momentum back by doing so. I mean, sometimes being man down, you can gather momentum just by killing it off.
Now, BL's got to be very careful about not going off sides.
Inside feed. We got some long stick action. Shot goes wide.
That's a bad call. That was Boysladen's ball. This guy's 50 yards away from it. That's too bad. Boysladen got a good shot, but that was a bad call. This should be BL's ball here.
Calvert Hall still with 1:21 to go.
Sloppy play right there, errant pass.
And Bob, you talked about it's a little bit sloppy. That's a testimony to the pressure of the moment. It's a Friday night game. All your friends are in the stands. You know, a lot of times you play an MIAA game on a Tuesday afternoon and all your friends are playing their sport. Now they're all here. Capture the moment. Had a nice chance to catch up with Jeff Mitchell, father of the twins, as we see a great save by Morton.
Another great feed through the defense on extra man there, all the way to the far pipe.
Nice ground ball pickup momentarily, but Calvert Hall gets back on it.
Calvert Hall really ought to just hold the ball, and they might as well keep it to go into the second half with it. But they look like they're intent. They only have 11 seconds.
Daniel Kelly rolling off that left side.
I think they'll hold it here.
Sunderland up top. Not so
amazing.
fast.
Amazing.
What do I know? Wow.
And they are going to have a face-off to start the second half as Dan Aburn hustles over to get Coach Brian Kelly. We'll have a word with him momentarily. But the first half, Brock, your impressions, you got to be pretty positive.
Absolutely. With Calvert Hall, I think they're getting everything they want right now. They're doing a great job controlling this game.
And Bob, if you're BL, how do you get back into the game?
Stop being frustrated. Stop playing frustrated. When they've settled down and they haven't had a couple dumb penalties and failed to clear, they've done fine.
Let's go down to Dan Aburn, who's got Coach Brian Kelly.
Down on the field here with Coach Kelly. Coach, how crucial has the ride been so far in this game?
So that the ride, well, early on it helped a lot. You know, I think they've adjusted better, so we might have to mix things up a little bit. But yeah, they've done a good job on our when we read early. Gave us a lot of free possessions.
And also, obviously, the possessions you've been able to get some of your second midfielder, including Connor Mitchell, who had a big goal. Yeah. How important is that?
Well, it's good. He's just getting back, so it's good to get him some confidence and getting some goal. Our second midfield, truthfully, is playing better than our first midfield. Our first midfield right now is just kind of, we're playing a little bit too slow, and we got to pick up the pace on that side of it.
What do you guys got to do in the second half to close this one out?
I mean, we got to keep playing great defense, and offensively, we got to just kind of just get better pace on the ball and better off-ball movement, especially with our first line. And we just got to keep our composure because obviously it's getting a little chirpy and chippy out here with a couple late hits, but we just hopefully our kids just don't react and keep their composure.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
It is halftime here at Kelly Field. Big birthday shout out to Joe D. Evans. We will be back with more halftime right after this.
Are you itching to get out and run? The Frederick Running Festival, presented by Frederick Foot and Ankle, is happening May 4th and 5th. Come out for our half marathon, team relay, or 5K. Then enjoy post-race treats brought to you by Safeway and cold Harpoon Lager beer at our one-of-a-kind post-race party. Not enough running for you? learn what it means to be a nut job, or sign up for our King Crab Challenge. Find out more at fredericksrunfest.com.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Ray.
It is halftime here at Calvert Hall. They lead 6-1, Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, and Rick Picado. And just like the rug ties the room together, halftime highlights tie the game together. Brock, we had some great moments here in the first half, especially if you're a Calvert Hall fan.
Oh, boy. Calvert Hall firing on all cylinders, and Truett Sunderland being the catalyst right now.
Sunderland drives hard to the cage there, makes something happen. And now we got a nice drive to the cage also, Bob.
Weber with just a speed dodge got to the front of the goal. They could have conceivably called that Booker because he dove to the goal mouth there. Again, that's the hardest play in the game. There's Marshall going down.
He's been a game
Smith
changer.
dropped his stick. Marshall was down with it, made a nice save. This is a sensational goal by Cam Spencer.
Boy, that looks like his brother. You're right, Bob. Man.
It clearly does.
And here's
Here's
just a great
Sunderland
play by
off that pick, doing a great job turning the corner and hammering it in.
That was just a defensive breakdown. It was a great play by Sunderland. This is his play by Daniel Kelly. Through the defense, nice pass by Grant Mitchell. Through to Kelly. Kelly made a nice play around the goal. And this is his brother showing his incredible power. Those two Mitchell boys are big, strong kids.
It's a lot of beef on one midfield. Well, actually, they split that midfield up. That's a lot of beef between those two brothers.
Those kids could play foot. They're from Georgia, and I'm pretty sure they could play big-time football.
I agree with you, Bob. Yep.
It is halftime. We're going to step away, but a big shout out to Jeff Mitchell and all his friends watching all over the country here on the FCA Lacrosse Game of the Week.
It's time to go Toyota with the best resale value of any brand, again for the third year in a row. Because when it comes to holding value, nobody does it better than Toyota. In fact, Toyota has 3 of the top 10 ranked by KBB.com for 2019, including Tacoma at #1. So whether you're searching for America's favorite car, SUV, or adventure-ready truck, this is where you want to shop. Go reliable, go Toyota, and let's go places.
The top coaches in the nation are getting ready to select the best high school underclass lacrosse teams in the country. Can you make the cut? The Under Armour All-American Underclass Tryouts have become the premier lacrosse exposure showcase in the entire sport. Exhibit your skills to top D1, 2, and 3 coaches and compete against the top talent in your region. Push yourself, shape your future, rep your region. Visit UnderArmourLacrosse.com now and register.
We have come a long way. All the amazing advancements in medicine. And while science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we believe it doesn't take a brain surgeon to get the best way to talk to a doctor isn't always in person. And that inside every human body lives a human being. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
And here we are at halftime as we see Calvert Hall dominating so far, but it's been a little back and forth. Let's take a look at the statistics as they appear tonight and as things have evolved. Bob, what jumps off the page at you?
Turnovers, penalties. That's probably not the right statistic on BL's turnovers, taking nothing away from the stat guy, but we've watched BL turn the ball over a number of times. Face-off is clearly in Calvert Hall's favor. Failure to clears don't show up on this screen, but they are also a big part of this game.
So, Brock, if you're Coach Farrell, how do you adjust that clearing issue?
You know, I think you got to really have some poise. If they come out in that 10-man ride, you got to make that long shot toward the cage. I tell you, you bury one of those long ones off of that 10-man ride, and they might pull out of that pretty quick, and then you settle into your clearing game.
And they did get some of those long passes. Bob, when you're rehearsing and practicing to beat a 10-man ride, do you throw long passes? Is that how you do it in practice, or do you try and manipulate it with the 7-on-6 advantage on your end of the field?
Well, it's very hard because they pull a defenseman up and swing the goalie out to cover one side of the field. And so the field is a little condensed, especially around the midline. And with the new rules, 20 seconds runs through you. You guys were talking about it earlier. When you start throwing cross-field passes, they take 2 or 3 seconds, and then all of a sudden you throw 3 or 4 of them, and now you're looking down the 8 ball because you're about to violate the 20-second clearing rule.
And it's funny because you can see the shot clock, and it's at 80. But you also, as a defenseman, you see it getting to 67, 64. And now you know if the ball's still in your end, you're going to lose the ball, and they're going to pick it up and go in 4 seconds if you don't get it over the midline. And you see them throw those cheapy clears.
Absolutely, you do. You got to do a good job of backing those up. And early on, when BL took one, they did a great job of backing it up. We're seeing a lot of that in the college game right now. It's an easy way to clear the ball.
This is a man-down face-off. BL will be man-down for another 10 seconds. So you'll notice here on the screen right away, Calvert Hall has 3 guys on this face-off line, and BL is only allowed 2 until that penalty's up.
Jake Snyder doing a nice job for the Calvert Hall defense, along with Parker Bird, and, of course, Sean Barwick up on the wing here, number 37 for Calvert Hall. Calvert Hall in their home whites. Boys Latin Lakers, road black with white shorts. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, Rick Bricado. As we like to say, Brock, Bob showing skin, Bruce sitting in. What a long, strange trip it's been. Third quarter set to go. Got some folks hitting me on Twitter. The feed was down for a little while, but at Twitter at Booker Corrigan. All those Mitchell fans down in Georgia and Texas. Calvert Hall possession. Cole Herbert. He got that Bob Barker suit game in Plinko with my style.
Well, that's what we've been waiting for Cole. That's what I thought he could do. He could let that one rip from about 15, it looked like, high to high. A blazer into the corner.
Well, BL picked this ball off the ground, and then they lost it. Calvert Hall gets underneath him, and Herbert just steps to 15 yards and blasts the ball. He just overpowers the goalie.
As they say, liquid smoke right there.
Yeah, that was a howitzer.
Dan Aburn joining us down on the sideline. Dan, what was the mood coming out of the BL halftime intermission?
Well, just a little bit of focus. They know what they have to do to get back into this game. It starts with getting possessions and clearing the ball properly, which going into this quarter so far they haven't been able to do just yet.
This is the FCA Lacrosse Game of the Week. Thank you to everybody for making us part of your sports viewing day. NCAA hoops. Nothing at stake there. You're watching MIAA Lacrosse. And Brock, that's the most letters I've ever said in a sentence, just for the record. Here's Daniel Kelly inverted against a short stick. Might see an early slide here. Kevin Davis ready to slide, gets a poke check, gets down on the hands, and a timely check.
Great catch by Long there to keep that possession from going across the midline.
Mitchell shot, goal, low to low. Hold your nose, because here goes the cold water.
Well, there are those two big mammoth guys that are running in the midfield, back-to-back goals here. I don't think Mitchell quite got as much on it as he had wanted to here, but look at the location. Low and away, overhand, really nice shot.
And Brock, here's an incident where you pass the ball across the top and then you drift away, as opposed to in the old school you cut through. That seems to be a little nouveau offense.
Drift away to some open shooting space and then stepping in and letting it go.
And a lot of teams are running that, where you have two men up top and you kind of throw that pass across, and then you, instead of cutting through, because you used to be throw and go.
Yep, absolutely.
Interesting to see the evolution of the game. I get a chance every now and then to spin by practices and watch teams work specifically on that kind of throw and drift.
Bob, did you think the Lakers were in a little bit of a zone defense there on that last one? No? Okay.
It's interesting to think if they will go into a zone, because they have played a zone fairly successfully in years past under Coach Brian Farrell.
Last year, the zone helped them beat Calvert Hall in the regular season. The Calvert Hall got their revenge in the championship game last year, beating BL 9-5.
And what a great game that was, Bob. And you and I were there. The weather was beautiful. It was 43 degrees and raining. It was so nice to be a part of it. The wind was howling.
It was a great game, Booker. I remember it.
You had nothing wrong with your toes. Were numb, weren't they? on May 15th in Baltimore? Why wouldn't you be freezing cold? I vividly remember shivering the last time these two teams played.
Booker, Calvert Hall does a really nice job of, as soon as you gain possession, their attack is all over you, and they prevent you from throwing the ball up the field. You're forced to throw it across, and then they can set their 10-man ride. They've always done that. It's been a tradition here for a number of years, how hard they work riding.
One of the guys I'll never forget is JT Bugliosi. Jacob Kelly was a great rider, and they certainly have passed that tradition down. So it's a great illustration by Coach Schreiber. Timely check, and that is going to be, it's a pass, turnover. Both guys dove as it was a shot.
Nice trail check there by Jake Snyder.
Well, again, it's just a lack of kind of being able to break guys down on a consistent basis. That's the second time in this quarter that Calvert Hall's made a check like that on a BL player that really just kind of stopped moving his feet.
And it's always good, you know, when you're an offensive player off of those rolls, you know, you want to bring your stick with you so you don't drag it behind you and get that trail check.
There's Weber trying to run that sideline again effectively.
Inside feet! Oh, no, you didn't! He is I, and I is him.
Great cut by Stewart, great feed by Weber. That's Stewart's second goal.
That was a frozen rope from outside of the box there.
Look at this pass.
Look at this pass. It's a frozen rope just inside the box. Look at him.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful.
You say Weber, I think Webby. I know Ned Webster, head coach of the Cal Bears, playing some club ball in California. He's watching.
Deadly Nedley, we used to call him.
Ernie. Timeout called by the Lakers. Bob, what are they talking about?
Well, they're talking about, at this point in time, look, forget the game, right? Forget the scoreboard, forget the game. You need to play some better lacrosse, handle the ball a little bit better. When you're on offense, make sure everybody's moving. Don't stop, because Calvert Hall has shown the ability, if you're going to stop, get a nice trail check, put the ball on the ground. When you get the ball, just be a little bit poised. Offensively, clearing the ball. They cleared the ball effectively the one time they've had it, and hey, play some defense.
And here's your rankings. You got McDonough. They used to be ahead.
That's going to change.
A team called St. Paul's. Rick Mercado, the man to my right. St. Paul's down at number 4 on the Inside Lacrosse Weekly rankings. Calvert Hall might bump up to that one spot.
Really proud of what Coach Trey Whitty is doing with that St. Paul squad. They are playing tough and aggressive and very smart. Today, I think they did a great job all the way around.
Tyler Dunn for Calvert Hall in to take the face-off for Calvert Hall. against Moreland. Cole Erickson here on this near wing, along with Dan Riley, sophomore for Calvert Hall.
Well, you notice also, Booker, at the offensive end, Coach Kelly took his son Daniel out of the game. I have a feeling his knee, whatever was ailing him, is significant enough that there's no sense at this point in time in the game in risking him further injuring it. So they subbed in Ethan Mitzer, Justin Mitzer, Ethan's brother, excuse me. Number 9's playing attack now.
Coming back with that first midfield, too.
And this is Mitchell. You can tell how big he is. He just makes his stick look small.
Wow.
From 15 yards away.
Roll back and let it rip. He is a hoss. Bob's absolutely right. This kid could play big-time college football. Look at the separation he gets on this rollback and just lets it go.
Hands-free, 15 yards away. Bob, you can't coach size.
Or speed.
Yeah. We used to tell the slow kids, perfect speed's being there.
I thought that BL defender overplayed his left hand, Mitchell, you know, and Mitchell rolled back and done a good job with showing that right hand tonight.
Calvert Hall now imposing their will in all facets of the game.
That was a heck of a play by McNamara there. Recognized the shots coming, beat him to the end line. Good play by McNamara, but look at how quickly Calvert Hall's attackmen get down there and put some heat on them.
This is what we've been talking about. That long field pass allows Calvert Hall to get into that 10-man, and they're jumping it all over the middle of the field, so aggressive. But BL did a good job there weathering the storm, getting it back.
Let's go down to the sideline. Dan Aburn, what do you got for us, Dan?
Well, I was listening to Boys Latin's last huddle, and you know, they kind of said what Bob alluded to earlier, but said, let's kind of forget about the scoreboard and just focus on making some of the smaller plays, like ground balls, getting tough ones off the face-off wing, and then just clearing the ball properly. And right now, they've got a really critical offensive possession. Let's see if they can convert here.
Well, they ran Harold Lloyd here off of the midline. He's been playing attack, see if they couldn't get him lined up against a shorty. He's incredibly quick.
This is Smith. Gets across the right side.
Smith now on a shorty. BL's just trying to see if they can't play a little bit of a matchup game. Calvert Hall effectively switched. Now they got Spencer on a shorty.
Oh, great hitch move. Shot never makes it. And we get a shot clock violation. It'll be Calvert Hall possession, and they will clear it easily. Their clearing success is something. Brock, how do you get BL into a ride scenario where they can, you know, score a couple goals in a bunch?
Yeah, I think Calvert Hall has so much team speed. They're getting the ball over that midline pretty darn quickly. BL has to do a better job of dropping back and matching feet with their middies and preventing that and forcing them to go back with the ball to their goalie and do kind of what Calvert Hall's doing to BL, swing the ball more east-west rather than north-south.
Calvert Hall getting some second and third line offensive players into the game now. This is Mitchell, has a goal already tonight. Puts the shoulder down and then rolls it behind. Sutherland makes a nice job picking it up.
Weber, he's got some speed, 25. He just ran through checks, got to the middle of the field effectively. BL did a decent job checking up.
Weber had a great goal in the first quarter of this game.
12 seconds on the shot clock. Sunderland's going to take this ball to the rack.
Sunderland just a freshman, and they're going to give that a reset. The shot was going to be wide.
The goalie hit it.
Yeah.
So that's an automatic reset. It's a good break for Calvert Hall. Sunderland went to the goal. Got a shot. Goalie had to save it.
Connor Mitchell driving lefty now. Saucy Jack Sawyer gets a step, comes around, Great save, Malone, and rebound goal, Weber.
Johnny on the spot.
Yep, did it again. Calvert Hall cashes in yet again on those extra chance possessions that mean so much. They had the shot clock late. Bob, here you go. Sawyer driving.
Weber, that's his third goal today. He's emerged on the scene. I don't remember him playing last year. He's an 11th grader. Probably tough to crack into the lineup last year. But it's nice to have that guy in your back pocket. He's been impressive. That midfield's accounted for at least 4 goals today.
And again, behind the goal there, Sawyer coming off a pick this time by Sunderland, which allowed Sawyer to turn the corner and ring that off the post, and Weber was right there for the rebound.
Tone's having a great game at the face-off X. They did put Daniel Kelly back in, so maybe that was just to give Mincer a little chance to play.
And I'm looking at Daniel Kelly. Looks like he's running okay.
Yeah, this time they took Sunderland out, so he's just rotating 4 guys in on attack.
As we get a look at Saucy Jack Sawyer, he has played a nice, efficient game tonight. Brock, how do you teach an attackman to play efficiently?
You know, I think a lot of that comes from within and just a feel for the game, and you really can't coach some of that stuff. But I do think Coach Kelly has done a nice job. Jack has certainly had some guys before him that have set the tone for him, and Jacob Kelly that have really shown him the way, too, to be able to take over a team and be their leader on offense.
Booker, that's something you rarely see. BL took that ball back over the midline twice on this clearing attempt, which you're allowed to do if you beat the 20-second clock. The third time they came back over the midline with the ball, there was still 1 second on the 20-second clock.
And when you say 20-second clock, you mean 80 seconds, but it hadn't hit 60 yet.
Correct.
For our viewers who want to nitpick.
Correct.
Because, you know, people like to nitpick. I don't know why.
And JT Morton, who really had a nice first half. I think he made a lot of nice saves. He's struggling to get his stick on the ball this half. Well, when you're under siege, it's not easy to stay focused. You know, the game has obviously gotten way away from BL. They got no shot of coming back and winning this game. And so it's very hard to keep your focus. But that's, as Dan alluded to, that's what the BL coaching staff's trying to impart on the kids, and hoping very much that they are listening. That's a penalty.
And that is going to be a penalty.
That is a penalty.
Oh, and that
getting chippy.
That should be a penalty too.
Yep. We will step away briefly. It's going to be Man Up Boys Latin when we return to Calvert Hall.
The Fellowship of Christian Athletes engages their coaches and athletes to grow their faith through sport. Make sure you investigate the amazing camp at Lebanon Valley College this July. The FCA has camps, clinics, huddles, teams. Learn more about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes by going to fcalax.com.
Here's a replay of that cross check, and that's not even something you see Walker Campbell do for BL in a practice session. The intensity. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Walker Campbell get out on that field a little bit later on today. Part of that Three Amigos defensive line, and the pass will go over the head. That's going to be over and back if BL can't keep it in. Blake Shepard and Jack Sutton rounding out that Three Amigos line.
Calvert Hall's numbers here, 4 on 3. They can do something with it, but BL recovers quickly.
Bob, we've had a nice chance to really examine Calvert Hall so far. How impressed are you, and who impresses you the most?
Well, the three monster midfielders are the guys that really, I think, set the tone. Sunderland showed some speed back there on attack. Sawyer, who I think is a terrific player, really hadn't been too involved in this, primarily because they're doing most of their damage out in the middle of the field.
Cole Herbert gets to the inside, but his shot gets deflected. And we see Morton, the goaltender,
nice ground
throwing
ball
some body around. A great ground ball pickup.
What we call
free play for Boys Latin here.
Something they haven't had a lot of, huh, Dan?
Yep.
Late getting their sub on the field there.
Hear a lot of cheers for Spillman out there. Ryan Spillman. The ball goes inside, and now we might get a penalty on BL.
That's going to be a penalty on the Lakers.
Push.
I disagree. I think he was pushed into the goalie, but let's see what the refs call.
Could they be 3 men down?
We rarely see it, but let's see this replay.
Let's see it again on the replay.
Look.
That's a push.
That is a push.
You got it.
Into the goaltender, and the way BL's day's going, I'm sure they're going to call him for diving into the goal.
Yeah. Referees meeting over there. I think Judge Joe Murphy might be one of the guys trying to sort all this out. Big shout out to Erin Murphy and her mom, and she who must be obeyed. Fighting off some health. Big fan of the MIAA Game of the Week.
Man, we got
shout outs, Brock.
Arms folded out here waiting for this decision.
Yeah. They're waiting for Judge Joe Murphy to rule.
Well, here again, this is where we talked about the shot clock has eliminated a lot of the subjectivity for the officiating, and now all of a sudden you throw in now this dive rule, which hasn't been administered well, and the subjectivity is back. We see a lot of these, group meetings by the officials, and it takes a lot of time. It's taking up time from the game.
It's funny. I saw a great person who shared with me, Bob, in 2018, last year, when somebody dove towards the crease, it was a confusing and hard call for the officials. And in 2019, they changed the rule, and it's still a confusing and hard call for the officials.
Maybe more so, absolutely.
Well, here's the ironic thing here. It looks like that they're going to call Spencer for diving, so that penalty is the last penalty. While BL's up 2 men, Calvert Hall is going to come back with the ball because the dive that they called will be the last penalty, so the possession is going to go to Calvert Hall in spite of being down 2 men.
Let's go down to Dan Aburn from inside Lacrosse.
Yeah, we've actually got 4 fouls here. I believe 2 of them are on one player, and Cam Spencer will sit for diving towards the goal mouth. He's got a 1 minute unsportsmanlike.
Interesting. I apologize. BL is keeping possession of the ball. Calvert Hall is down 3 men. It's 5 on 3. And I can promise you, neither team's practiced this scenario.
Up with 2 great coaches. And you guys don't practice the 5 on 3.
I just did with my 6th grade team the other day.
I bet you did. Liar, liar, pantsuit on fire.
Not by design.
Yeah.
If we look at the scoreboard, if you could flash to that, they don't even have enough room on the scoreboard to put Calvert Hall's 3rd penalty up.
So we have Parker Bird. My man Brian Bird was emphatic to know that he was getting a J.K. Kelly in the box. Daniel Kelly's in the box. Oh, he got a slash. Sorry, that was all the way down here. That was hours ago. That was about an hour and a half ago. I was at Chipotle when he got the slash.
J.K. Kelly's in the box for a 30-second push, and we're not sure what the other penalty is on Calvert Hall. Maybe Dan can catch up on that for us.
Folks at the Valley Inn have had a chance to go to the bathroom and relax a little bit and see, see what's going to evolve. Now, there's 30 seconds on the shot clock, which is interesting. They're now going to reset that. Thank you. Wait to see it administered that properly. There's 38 seconds left in the third quarter. My friends at the Columbia Bank, they're all at the Valley Inn right now. Five on three Lakers. This is not NHL hockey. Shot deflected, goes wide, and it will be BL ball. And they will pack it back in.
Yeah, Booker, I think everybody here on the sidelines a little...
As Cole Erickson bringing it, slinging it, stinging it.
I don't know what's the story here because the penalties...
Yeah.
Everything is full-time.
BL, Spencer's not going to be allowed out of the box. Now, who are they going to let out of the box for Calvert Hall? They were all simultaneous or not? Would they
were
call
not,
that?
but no, I think once one becomes full-time, they
all
become,
do.
Yeah.
Right. Because one was a 30-second, but it was still full-time.
I coached a couple games in this league. I do a couple rules. You want to yell at somebody, you better know the rules.
Look, Calvert Hall's only got one guy on the face-off wing. BL has two, and this is another scenario that they've never practiced.
Yeah.
If whoever gets possession of this ball, Booker, whoever gets it, would be very would be very smart to hold on to it.
Oh yeah, 16 seconds in the quarter. As we see the BL bench celebration.
Calvert Hall's down 3 men. They got to take one more off the field.
Yeah.
And if this kid on the face-off for Calvert Hall steps on that midline, they'll be offside.
Yeah. Wait.
They will be offside.
They'll be offsides because they got two back here. All he has to do is step on the line. The guy taking the face-off.
Correct.
Right.
And he would be offside. I hate to tell you, but we lost a game.
Yeah, I know.
A playoff game in a similar situation. Dead similar.
Really?
Dead similar.
And they automatically award them the ball. Because they can't, I don't think you can even face off because, I don't know. I don't know.
He would have had to just stand back, right?
Yeah.
And give the guy the ball.
BL should hold on to this ball.
It'll be interesting. 8 seconds in the quarter, shot goes wide, and now one of the penalties, the 30-second foul has expired. There's 6 seconds left in the quarter. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors. Great group of sponsors, including Getz, the Valley Inn, and of course the Columbia Bank, and Kelly and Associates, and the FCA Lacrosse organization. What a great, great group. If you're interested in the Under Armour All-American Underclass, go to UnderArmourLacrosse.com and test yourself against the best in your region. Rep your region. Under Armour Lacrosse. Boys Latin on the man advantage to start the fourth quarter. Outside shot, Jackson Marshall doing that voodoo that he does so well.
Jackson really tracks the ball well on the low shots. I think BL should continue to try to pepper him high, maybe change the level of their shot a little bit. There's that long pass shot to the goal.
That's
it's
BL's
going to be
ball.
BL possession.
BL ran it out. Calvert Hall didn't run it out. They did not have the backup.
Well, Calvert Hall's used to playing against the 10-man because they got to practice against their own 10-man every day in practice. So that's a good idea. Take the shot, but hope that you have one of your Calvert Hall attackmen down there recognizing that you're going to throw a bomb and get to the end line first.
Nice, efficient clear there. Sometimes 7 good passes adds up to 1 good clear. Am I correct there, Bob?
Yeah, but that time BL did a different thing on the clear. They ran an attackman over to help, and that was Ben Smith, who did a nice job.
Talking with Brian Farrell, he said Ben Smith has the most playing time of any of his attackmen who started tonight's game.
And let's not forget Ben's just a sophomore. And that really, you know, Cam, we talked about it at the outset of the game. Cam played no lacrosse in the 8th and 9th grade, got hurt in the 10th grade, last basketball game. And then last year he got hurt after 5 weeks. So this is the longest stretch of lacrosse he's played in 5 years.
Nice little hitch by Cam Spencer. And a feed inside, unable to handle. Cole Erickson will run it down, and that will be a shot clock violation, second one on the Lakers. And Brock, is that a tribute as much to the Calvert Hall defense?
It is, but I do think Cam should, instead of, when that clock was running down, instead of throwing the ball back toward the top across the field, throw it back behind the goal. That way, if you lose it back there, too.
And Cole Erickson kind of did the right thing by just ditching it in the corner as we see Mitchell going against Hernandez. A.J. Hernandez, nice little athlete. His dad, Al Hernandez, firefighter.
Look at the speed on the Mitchell kid. They're not only big kids, they can run well.
Nothing runs like a deer. Not one of our sponsors. Forget I said that. Right, Dan?
Yeah.
Inside lacrosse. Nothing runs like an inside lacrosse. My man Ty Sanders down there next to you.
Yeah, we're enjoying this one. Gotta love the weather book.
Ty going corporate on us with a short haircut, glasses on, vest.
I think he's wearing leather shoes.
Yeah. I think those are leather Chuck Taylors. A little spinorama by Dale Hunter, a.k.a. Cole Herbert.
Calvert Hall going back to their first midfield here.
Beautiful night for lacrosse, Bob. How much do you enjoy doing MIAA lacrosse?
I love it. I wish we were doing a game that was a little bit more competitive. That would be fun. But the crowd here is amazing. I'm only looking to the right side. Apparently the left side behind the Calvert Hall bench is packed.
It's a packed house, Bob. Yep.
And now we're at that 5-second mark where BL has to get the ball over the line, and they failed to. Kind of fitting, right, Brock? We're at fourth quarter.
Sure.
Common sense. I don't want to live in a world where common sense doesn't make any sense. This is Weber.
Weber, Mitchell, and Stewart. I think Weber's got
That's out.
3 goals. Stewart's got 2, and Mitchell's got 1. This midfield's had 6 goals. That's a very productive day.
And Coach Kelly said at halftime he thought they were playing a little slow, this midfield.
Well,
So I hate to see him when they're playing faster. Oh, no, this is the second group. Yeah, that's right.
I think he
was really pleased with this group.
He was referring to the monsters on the first group, Herbert and the other Mitchell.
Yeah.
I tell you, it is going to be tough to figure out who's going to be the MedStar player of the game. As Spencer drives around, outside roll. Jackson Marshall makes the save. And like you were saying, Bob, this second midfield has 6 of the 11 goals. That's close to half.
Yes, it is.
It's so close, it's more than.
That was a nice question mark by Cam right there, but he just couldn't bury it.
We like to call it an outside roll, Brock. Outside roll. Right? You have an inside roll? Do you have an inside roll?
I like the question mark.
Okay.
I'm old school, right?
BL back on offense. Errant clear by the Lake Show. And the Lake Show offense, Bob, we talked about it a little bit during the break. Do you remember a stretch of games where they've had such offensive woes?
No, I really have not. They have.
Now, let me also ask you this, Bob. Do you remember a time when they played 3 top 10 teams in the country in a row in the form of Culver, Brunswick, and Calvert Hall?
Yeah, and not just in a row, but over a 6-day stretch, which is, you know, Saturday, Tuesday away in Philadelphia, and then back here on a Friday night. So that's a push. No call. Now they called it.
Well, they're going to give them a loose ball push. It could have been with possession. University of Pennsylvania, Brock. Oldest 2-tier stadium in the Western Hemisphere.
Home of the Quakers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oldest 2-tier stadium in the Western Hemisphere.
Franklin Field, you spent your youth there, didn't you?
I did. My dad used to coach up in that area.
Saw one of the greatest NCAA games ever there, 1975, maybe, with my dad, Maryland, and Frank Urso against Hopkins.
Yeah.
A couple of Frank's ex-players, you know, Frank's the head coach at Garnet Valley in Pennsylvania. A couple of his ex-players, one Moore, I'm not sure his first name is.
Matt Moore.
Matt Moore is a star at Virginia. He's got another player, Butterman or something, who plays at Syracuse, is having a great year.
Yeah, Jacob Buttermore.
Thank you.
That's why we have you, Dan. That's why we pay you the big bucks. We have Brock here so he can reminisce about the times at JFK in July seeing the Grateful Dead. Right.
There were plenty of them.
Calvert Hall back on offense. They lead just by 9. Fourth quarter trickling down towards the 5-minute mark. Inside feed, no good. Ball pinballs around, and Morton comes out and gets it. JT Morton, I like his action.
He's a football linebacker, so he can handle that. Nice play by Gable.
Great way to move the ball up the field.
Flag. It's going to be a high hit, I think, by Calvert Hall right here.
Referees for today's game: Carmen John Domenico, William Money, and Harry Callahan.
Well, BL's made some very, very silly penalties tonight. Calvert Hall's responded a little bit here late. I think that might be a product of being a little frustrated with some of the bad stuff that BL was throwing at him. But Cole Herbert's been in the penalty box before. He's a tenacious kid, and he's spent some time in the penalty box.
Yeah,
he's got a 1-minute unnecessary roughness right here. I think back to both of those boys Latin Calvert Hall games last year, and they were just very physical, chippy, and emotional games. Not surprised to see it replicated here tonight.
BL on the man advantage. BL in their road darks, Calvert Hall home whites, Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, and Rick Bricado bringing you the call. All three of us doing the old folks boogie as the Lakers look to add to their 2-goal total. Diagonal pass knocked away. Great stick, but good man ball. And the Lakers retain possession. They push it behind to Spencer. And there the guy with the ground ball picks it up and he cradles it one too many times. And
Instead of moving it right off the ground. Yep. And on an angle there. Needed to step up, get to the middle of the field a little bit, and then have more of an angle. Looked like he did get a cross check, too, on that shot.
Wake up in the morning with a story to tell after I go ahead and rip that corner to hell. Oh, goodness.
Well, Ben Smith, again, he's just a sophomore, but he is a quality player, and he becomes, you know, we're seeing Ben playing in a game where he's hadn't had too many opportunities. If you watch this kid play, if he was playing on Calvert Hall's team with athletes that Calvert Hall have around him, he'd be scoring 3 and 4 goals every game. BL just doesn't have those guys right now. And again, some of that has to do with injuries, but it also has to do a little bit with youth. They're playing a fair amount of sophomores. That's a sophomore, just made a mistake on the face-off X.
And it's a lot to ask, Brock. How do you get a sophomore to settle down and play their game against this Calvert Hall team that knows what they have? Coach Kelly doing some substituting on the defensive end.
He hadn't taken Marshall out yet. Marshall's really, and I'm sure he doesn't want to take him out after somebody just blasted one by him, you know, but he's played a really good lacrosse game.
They've got fresh bodies on offense now, too.
Yeah, that third midfield's in, right, Dan?
Yeah, it looks like they got some fresh attackmen as well.
Okay.
A couple new defenders in there. The only guy, again, that they haven't removed from the game is the goalie. I'm sure they got somebody down there warming up.
Nice handle by Ryan Vermillion as he gets a step. Vermillion looking to get a shot off. Hits the outside of the post, maybe a leg. Ryan Vermillion, son of Greg and Jackie.
Is he any relation to Bobby Vermillion?
He is not. He is not. Here's Vermillion again. Close friend of Danny. Scotty McShane. He's no Ned Webster, though.
Bobby Vermillion, very famous for being a golf kind of guru.
Overhead, Vermillion. How you like me now?
Textbook overhand shot right there. Really nice release.
The senior, Ryan Vermillion, gets this ball.
This is that good throwback we were talking about to open space. Good overhand technique right there. Nice rotation on that shot.
And we like to call that a Paris Hilton, Brock. That is a strong overhand release.
Ham McPartland, son of Coach Wayne McPartland on the Calvert Hall sidelines, who did a lot of facing off for Calvert Hall this year, but it looks like they've settled in a little bit to Catoni. But Ham McPartland, this is, you know, it's not like they're throwing out somebody without any experience. Ham handled a lot of draws last year.
Great ground ball pickup by Cole Erickson momentarily. And now the Lakers, Harold Lloyd gets it to Spencer. Spencer behind, now it's up top. Very spread out right now for the Lakers. This is Erickson.
Senior Xander Matimit getting an opportunity to play a little bit.
Oh, there you go. How you like me now when my pinky's valued over $300,000?
It's interesting. We've been listening to Coach Mercado talk about how good Marshall's been on the ground tonight, and the last 2 shots have been high, and they've gone in the goal. Now they got a new goaltender in. Number 53, Tommy Lubin, a freshman. He's another kid whose brother is on the varsity lacrosse team. And Tommy, while just a freshman, he's left-handed. He's a very talented player.
And Coach Farrell goes with his 3 amigo defense. Walker Campbell, Blake Shepard, and Jack Sutton checking into the game. I tell you, Brock, we're going to have some tough work to pick the MedStar player of the game.
This is a tough call today.
I'm a little impartial to Josh Weber tonight.
Weber's played well. done some things between the lines that are very valuable.
Can we just give it to that second midfield?
Yeah, for the whole second midfield.
I'd say also, I might. Oh, that's a penalty.
That's a penalty.
I might think a little bit about the face-off guy. You fail to realize that they dominated the draw and therefore dominated possession.
Chris Catone.
He had a great game, but you know Weber. Dan likes Weber.
I think Jackson Marshall made a play for it too. Had some good saves.
Calvert Hall's coming back with their starting man-down defense.
Tell you, for my money, I might cast my ballot for number 10, Grant Mitchell, the MedStar player of the game. As the Lakers are on the man up here. Less than a minute to go here, fourth quarter. Calvert Hall imposing their will. Oh, great inside feed, great finish, great play. That is top-notch lacrosse, and Garrett Glatz, the sophomore.
Nice inside cut there and a great feed. Good look in there. Jammed it right inside to him.
I think if your boy's Latin, you can take some positives away from how this game's ending for them.
Yeah, Dan, I think, you know, they're still playing hard. They're doing a good job getting some momentum, and this is something to build on for the next game.
Zach Crane doing a nice job on that man up for the Lakers. On the wing here, number 40, Blake Shepard. Been talking about him a little bit. Big buds with Walker Campbell, number 23. Nice ground ball pickup.
Dan, I have I'm a big proponent on you're never as good as you look when you win or as bad as you look when you lose. And I think both teams will go back and look at the film. Calvert Hall's dominated this game, but they'll look back at the film. Coach Kelly will be very disappointed with some of the stuff he sees and take that as a teaching moment to get better for their next game. BL will look at the film and say, hey, if we cleaned up a few things here or there or whatever, it could have been a little bit different. So, you know, both teams will take something out of this and try to build from it. Move on to Tuesday, which, again, in the MIAA, you don't get long to lick your wounds or pat yourself on the back.
Murderers Row, baby. That's it. It's a great, great league. The best in the country.
And on Tuesday, Bob, you and I will be Loyola McDonough. We get to see the Screaming Eagles twice next week. We're going to be back with some wrap-up stuff, too. But, Bob, your takeaway is spot on. You're never as good as you think you are when you win, and you're never as bad as you think you are when you lose. Brock, how do you instill that? If you're BL, how do you convince those kids, like, hey, we still have some ways to go here. Let's build.
Absolutely, and I think they did a good job of that here late in the game. They did a great job of building on some things that they can now go back to in the film room and say, hey, you know, we got a team here, we got a good squad, we'll be able to make a run here in the next game.
Booker, I think Brock and I would go back to the history of being involved in the league, and the one thing you want to do is you want to get into the playoffs, because if you can get into playoffs, so from Boys Latin's perspective, their goal is still there, is to make the playoff. Calvert Hall's obviously got a head start doing the same thing.
I love how you looked at me like that when you said it, like I never coached in the league. Hey, we're going to step away for break. We're always having fun here on the FCA Game of the Week. We will be right back.
top coaches in the nation are getting ready to select the best high school underclass lacrosse teams in the country. Can you make the cut? The Under Armour All-American Underclass Tryouts have become the premier lacrosse exposure showcase in the entire sport. Exhibit your skills to top D1, 2, and 3 coaches and compete against the top talent in your region. Push yourself. Shape your future. Rep your region. Visit UnderArmourLacrosse.com now and register.
Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll helps employers and employees save time, money, and hassle in navigating the intricacies of insurance, benefits, payroll, and workforce challenges. Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll is pleased to support CSE TV and the Game of the Week. Visit kellyway.com to put their people, technology, and services to work for you.
We have come a long way. All the amazing advancements in medicine. And while science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we believe it doesn't take a brain surgeon to get the best way to talk to a doctor isn't always in person. And that inside every human body lives a human being. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Here we are as the game 1 of the MIAA season comes to a close. Calvert Hall the victor. Let's go right down to Inside Lacrosse's Dan Aburn, who's got Grant Mitchell, the MedStar player of the game.
I'm here with the MedStar player of the game, Grant Mitchell. Grant, first of all, I want to talk about the contributions you guys got from your second midfield tonight. What did you guys think about the play from them?
The second mids have been playing awesome all year. And our number 0, Colin Stewart, a big game, put up 2 goals. And then my brother and then my guy, Webby, he put up 2 and 1. And they've been contributing all year. And I think they're really stepping up, and we need that. And we need 6 middies that can go full-time and make a contribute and play and really change the game.
And speaking of your coach at halftime, he said he needed a little bit more from the first midfield. What did he say to you at halftime break?
He just told us to play our game and really move the ball. And we weren't playing with great pace, and they're kind of pressing out on us. So really, it's just our mindset going in the second half was just to play with the pace that we've been playing at, and then we got back in the flow of things.
You guys just dominated possession tonight, and I thought the ride was so crucial. What did you think about how you guys hustled in that aspect of the game?
I think it really showed and on the score, and really I think we had 4 or 5 turnovers on our ride. We were running a 10-man, and I contributed that to our attack. They were busting the balls back and forth and really contributing to that. And then another thing is Jackson Marshall and Cage played big for us.
Obviously, an emotional game between Calvert Hall and Boys Latin always seems to be. How awesome is it to get a win night 1 in MIAA play?
Awesome. It definitely feels sweeter because rematch of the championship game last year, and then just the atmosphere, the crowd, and it feels good to get just one under your belt and kind of get ready for the rest of the season.
Congrats, Grant. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, bud.
Grant Mitchell, your MedStar player of the game. What an evening here at Calvert Hall. Absolute fantastic setting. Bob, what'd you like the most?
The crowd was terrific. Nice night, maybe one of the better spring nights we've had so far this year. You know, comfortable temperature. Nobody's over there freezing. They could enjoy the play. The game itself probably didn't live up to expectations for a lot of the fans, but the Calvert Hall fans were pretty happy.
And BL knew coming in they were without Brendan Grimes, and that actually really puts them in a tough spot. Brock, how does BL move from here to get more offense?
Yeah, so I think, guys got a lot of experience. Some young guys got some experience today, especially on the attack end of the field, that you can build with that too. Those guys are going to develop a little bit as the season moves along. Bob made a great point. I think, you kind of flush this one, you learn from it a little bit, but you flush it and you get ready for the next one. And then you're just always pointing to the playoffs, because once you get there, anything can happen.
And Bob, we have Loyola McDonough. McDonough took a tough one today. What do you expect quickly?
That'll be another war. Again, you have very little chance to pat yourself or feel sorry for yourself. Loyola got a good start today against John Carroll. McDonough lost. Loyola's got a new coach, a lot of new enthusiasm. Gene Ubriaco, who I was fortunate enough to have on the sideline at BL for many years and also to have coached, and he's doing a good job. So it'll be interesting.
For Rick Bricado and Bob Shriver, I'm Booker Corrigan saying thanks so much for being a part of the FCA Lacrosse Game of the Week.